Today, I'm going to show you how to combine Seedream 4.5 and Kling 2.6 to create ad campaigns like this. I'm going to show you what's new inside Seedream 4.5 and Kling 2.6, how they differ from previous models, and how you can use them to generate cinematic images and turn those into videos in a matter of minutes. The real win of combining these two models is that you get the quality of the likes of Nano Banana Pro on the image generation front and the likes of Sora 2 and VO3 on the video front with Kling. Let's jump in. So we're going to be testing out Seedream 4.5 and Kling 2.6 within FLORA, which is my intelligent canvas of choice, and the base tool I use to build out my own one-person creative studio. If you want to give FLORA a try, you can clone this workflow using my creative partner link in the description. And if you choose to pay for FLORA, you get 25% off. So let's start with Seedream 4.5 and exactly what's new. So this is the image model from ByteDance, a Chinese company that is behind the likes of TikTok. And in my opinion, this is the best, cheaper image model. Seedream I've been using for many months now, and I've always been impressed at how it's able to compete with the likes of Nano Banana Pro, but at a much cheaper price point. So what's different in Seedream 4.5 versus 4.0? The overall scaling of the model, so you get larger images and a higher overall quality. Reference images, the consistency of them is much tighter, which we're going to explore now. The typography and dense text just got a big upgrade, so it can compete much better with the likes of Nano Banana Pro. It has multi-image editing, which is more controllable, and measured performance gains on Magic Bench. So looking at it compared to other models, it's just improved in many different aspects. If you want to get the complete lowdown of Seedream 4.5, I'll include a link to this article, but we're going to hop over to Kling 2.6 and see how that's different. So as a quick overview, the big news here is that Kling 2.6 now offers native sound with video generations. Overall, that's the big one, but in terms of the quality of the outputs, it's also received an update. So looking specifically at Kling 2.5, the previous model, is that now you have native synchronized audio, as I've mentioned. You get audio adaptive motion and cuts, so between different scenes and images or scenes that you generate, the sound is more coherent across all of them. And then you have deeper structural reasoning. So basically it looks at the whole story rather than just the prompt, which results in better outputs. Again, I will link to this article if you want to dive deep into Kling 2.6 and what's new there. So let's hop back into FLORA. And what I've done is taken the image or a image from the Seedream 4.5 release page and recreated it. The way I did that is I created a new text node like that, and I typed out, describe the image without any text, logos, or buttons with the red car and background only. So we'll just delete that node, and then I generated an image using Seedream 4.5, new node, and it uses that output of the text node to create the new image. I'm pretty happy with this. And the goal here was to create different scenes of the same car to build out an ad campaign. So I've gone ahead and I use ChatGPT for the most part for my prompts. So I use a voice note and describe exactly what I'm looking for. And then I also drop in the reference image, which I've got here, and ask it for 10 different angles of the car, focusing on different features. From there, we will then build out the video element using Kling 2.6. So each image node we've created here focuses on a different element of the car. And I've already copied and pasted all of these in. So a quick way to get these to generate together is to select all and hit run all. So we're going to wait for that to generate, and it's pretty quick, Seedream 4.5. Compared to some other models, it might not be as quick, but if it's taking a minute or less to generate these images, which it looks like it is, that's pretty good going. Okay, so we can already see some of these are generating, and here the background isn't ideal because it's not matched the red wall. So I'm actually going to hit that again and see if we can get that red wall right. But here we've got a side angle shot from the back, looking pretty good. Another from the front here. And what we're looking for is the consistency of the vehicle. And in some ways, like you can see the air intake here is not on that. So again, you can choose to rerun this or tweak the prompt to include that element. And then here we can see it's got the zoom in on the wheel with a bit of a light trick there. It's given us this, which doesn't quite look right. It makes it look a little bit like a convertible. But generally, the look and feel of it is fairly impressive. Let's hit rerun on that. Okay, we've got the engine sticking out here, which doesn't make sense. I'll rerun that one. Okay, so we've got the car in these various different angles. And okay, that's already improved. So just rerunning the same prompt, it's now fixed that black wall. For the sake of time, I'm going to run these as they are. But obviously you can make tweaks depending on the type of work you're producing and the exact elements that need to be maintained. If it is a product, for instance. So jumping into the Kling 2.6 element, we're going to click and drag to create a new node. We're going to choose the video node, and we're going to select Kling 2.6 Pro. I have already generated prompts for this using ChatGPT. So I'm going to copy and paste these one by one, and then we're going to run them. You can choose duration. I'm going to keep these to 5 seconds because I want this to be quite short and sweet, but you can always choose upwards of 10 seconds. So I'm going to hit run on these as I add the rest, and I'll do a little fast forward trick here. And let's see how long it takes. It's probably going to take at least a few minutes. And yeah, it's suggesting 3 minutes here. So let's see how that goes. I'm going to add the rest in the meantime. Okay, so I'm going to hit run on the remaining videos. And in the meantime, let's review these images. So I've set this at 4K resolution, which is another big win for Seedream 4.5. It just makes the output so much clearer and high definition. This is particularly useful if you're using products where there's fine text or fine details that you need. It'll be a big improvement on what we've seen with Seedream 4.0. So I'm pretty happy with these outputs. There's a couple of minor details that don't quite work, or inconsistencies, like with this air intake not being present on some of the images. But again, you either rerun the image or adjust the prompt, maybe add a negative prompt if necessary. This shot, again, not ideal, but usable. And they've got the air intake the wrong way around there. This is a really nice shot. Nice use of the light reflection. The engine shot slightly better. It doesn't look absolutely realistic, and that probably shouldn't be sticking out like it is. But overall, I'm pretty happy with these, and quite a nice use of lens flares and lighting tricks to make it look a little bit more cinematic. So some of these have ended or finished running. Let's have a look at them. So Kling 2.6 Pro, let's see what it's capable of. Very nice. Let's switch the sound on. Okay, sound is not good there. It just sounds like white noise. Looks like that one didn't generate sound. The first part is usable and a decent shot, but then it just morphs into a mess. But again, I'll work this into a final edit where you can use the beginning of the clip and edit anything out that doesn't make sense. Okay, slow zoom back. Probably a little too slow. It almost looks like there's no movement, but solid. Likewise with that, it's pretty consistent and usable. Those lights don't really make much sense, but in a quick edit that could work. Slow zoom towards the driver's wheel. That's a nice shot. Again, all of these are usable. So in terms of the camera motion and the consistency of the image itself, it's very impressive. There was only that one shot where it kind of morphed into something weird. Again, that's a nice slow dolly movement up above. Okay, the wheel movement doesn't look supernatural, but again, as maybe a 1 or 2 second clip, this could work. So from here on out, I would upscale these because these have generated in 1920 by 1080 resolution. So to get it to 4K, we would then create a new video node. You can choose to scale it up. I believe it's up to 4 times at least. We're just going to do 2 frames per second. Let's keep it at 24, but you can make that upward of 60. Then I'm going to run all of these, upscale them, and then pull them into Premiere Pro to create the final edit. Some of these do have sound as mentioned, but let's see if the sound is decent on any of the others. Okay, not great. Just doesn't sound like a car. Yeah, okay, so the sound isn't great, but I also didn't prompt specifically for sound in the prompts. So when using Kling 2.6, remember to add a sound prompt. So all in all, I'm pretty impressed with both of these, especially given that they are a fraction of the cost of some of the more expensive models on the image generation front. Seedream is, I believe, 4 times cheaper than Nano Banana Pro. Let's check that. So Nano Pro is 200, Seedream is 54. This is obviously within FLORA, so that may differ if you're using them on the native platforms. But then in terms of the video generation, Kling 2.6 is 934 credits, whereas some of the more expensive ones, even Kling 2.0 Master, is 1,500, and Sora 2, 1,600, VO 3.1, 4,200. So it's much cheaper. And I am particularly using both of these models to test ideas at a much cheaper rate than building them out with Nano Banana Pro and the likes of VO3. So I hope this has been useful. If you want to clone this workflow and give FLORA a try yourself, you can hit the link in the description. If you want to stay up to date with everything going on in the world of AI creativity and learn how to build your own one-person studio, head to escapism.ai and sign up for my free newsletter. And if you've enjoyed this, I'd really appreciate if you could give it a like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Leave a comment if you're struggling with something that you'd like me to cover. And I really appreciate the support. Thank you for watching.